So 7 reasons your wife doesn't want sex and how you're actually training your wife to not want sex. She might love you, but she's not into you anymore. Not the way she used to be or you want her to be. And those two things, loving you and wanting you, they're not the same wire. They don't even run through the same part of her brain. So you can be doing everything right. Reliable, faithful, a great dad, the husband that her friends keep telling their husbands to be more like, and still lie there at night next to a woman who feels like 1,000 miles away in a queen-size bed. Why does this happen? Because attraction was never a reward for being a good man. It's not a loyalty program. It's not gratitude. It's not points that you cash in for being nice. It's a primal response. Attraction is her femininity responding to your masculinity. Her attraction is automatic. It responds to sexual tension, to you leading, to dominance, to desire. And somewhere over the years, maybe not with a big blow up, maybe you didn't have an affair, no single bad night, you quietly flip that switch off. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 7 ways you're accidentally training your wife to stop wanting you and the exact shifts that flip that switch back on. Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, and I want to tell you about a conversation I had recently with a client of mine, Victor. Victor's 26. He's been married for, I think, 14 years. He's a good guy, great dad, the kind of husband other wives tell their husband to be more like. And he's sitting across from me describing his marriage. And he goes, Bobby, I don't get it. I do everything right. Then he describes bedtime. He says every night his wife climbs into bed and rolls all the way to the far edge of the mattress like she's escaping a burning building in slow motion. Then she takes the comforter and wraps herself in it head to toe, a full blanket cocoon to keep him away. And Victor's lying there is like 6 inches of mattress, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breathe, trying to figure out if that little sigh she just made was an invitation or a warning. And I've been married long enough to know exactly what the ceiling looks like. Every married guy does at some point. And what breaks my heart a little is that on paper, Victor's winning, right? He remembers the anniversaries. He never raises his voice. He doesn't, he does more around the house than most people. He raises his kids. He did more than his dad ever did. He's by every measure a great husband. So he asked me the question that every husband eventually asks. What am I doing wrong? And here's the irony. He's not doing anything wrong. He's doing everything he was told to do. He's just doing it in a way that kills her desire instead of building it. Because here's the thing a lot of husbands don't understand. You didn't lose her attraction, you trained it out of her. One considerate, accommodating, permission-asking gesture at a time. The good husband and the invisible husband are usually the same guy. So in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 7 ways you're doing it right now without even knowing it and exactly what to do instead. Now, I want you to mentally recognize and be honest which of the 7 you're doing, because chances are, as I go through these, you're making at least, I guarantee at least 3 out of these 7. So let's start with the first one. 0 psychology. Okay. So the first of the ways you're training your wife to not want sex is you have perfect mechanics, but 0 psychology. And we're going to start with the sex and the seduction self stuff, because as hard as this is to hear, if your wife is fully enjoying the sex, she would be initiating more. So what happened? A lot of times you turn sex into a technical performance. You're focused on positions or speed or technique, and you think the secret is a drawer full of maybe gadgets or some routine you read about. And listen, I get the logic. You want to blow her mind, you're trying, but here's the problem. Perfect physical technique with 0 psychological tension can be replaced by a plastic toy with 2-day shipping. Your wife doesn't need a husband for physical stimulation. She's got that covered. If you search the room, you're gonna find the toy. Trust me. What her biology is actually screaming for is the psychological part. The feeling of being desired, pursued, taken, even dominated. The mental surrender that only happens when there's a real man on the other side of it. And here's what's happening on her side of the bed. When there's no tension built up outside of the bedroom, the second you reach for her, it feels like a task, mechanical. Her body reads it as, here we go again, instead of, oh my God, finally. Think about it from her seat. Nothing all day pointed towards this moment. No looks, no line, no charge in the air. And then the lights go off and suddenly it's like showtime for you. Her body did not get a running start, so it does the only thing that it can do. It stalls. That's not her really rejecting you. That's her nervous system going from 0 to 60 with no on-ramp. Here's the fix. Before you touch touch her body, stimulate her mind. Plant the seed hours earlier. Send her a text at 2 p.m. out of nowhere like, fair warning, I've got plans for you tonight that have nothing to do with the laundry. See if you earned it. Probably, right? That probably is the whole thing. It's the little tease there. That's restraint. That's a slow burn. You just put a low, warm hum in the back of her mind that follows her around all afternoon. Desire doesn't start in the bedroom. It starts in her imagination hours before you ever touch her. Years ago, somebody once told me, they said, it was one of the guys that I knew who was the best with women I'd ever seen. He goes, if you can get her banging you in her head, she's gonna bang you in the bed. This goes for all women. It's not just your wife, it's girls you're dating, girls you're seeing. They have to fantasize about it. And if you think about what women fantasize about, I mean, the billion-dollar industry for women is like lit-rotica, right? Romance novels, lit-rotica. And what is that? It's the mental foreplay. It's the buildup. It's the dominance. It's the anticipation. It's the will it happen, won't it happen? It's never just like a woman reading about like a husband and wife going upstairs at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night and having like obligation sex. That's not a turn on for her, right? So keep that in mind. So let's go into number 2. Number 2 is interview mode. So this is where you run something called interview mode. This is when you turn every conversation into like a status meeting. You come home and you run the check-in. How was your day? Call the plumber? So what do you want to watch tonight? You're basically in interview mode with your wife for a large percentage of your conversations. But interview mode is boring and platonic. It's how you talk to your hairdresser or the Uber driver. Weather's finally clearing up. Like whenever you're stuck in interview mode, you're signaling that there's no chemistry, there's no vibe, there's no spark, just a logistical, unaroused conversation. So here's the thing about conversations with a woman that you're seducing. It's about creating a feeling. And when you ask a flat logistical question, her nervous system hands you the flat logistical energy it deserves. Here's her side of it. She spends all day being needed, right? Handling logistics, answering questions, managing schedules. And then her husband, the one man who's supposed to make her feel like a woman, walks in and hands her one more administrative task. How was your day, right? That's not romance. That's a second shift. She's not lying awake craving another logistics partner. What she's missing is the guy who teases her, flirts with her, tells her funny stories, the guy who makes her stomach flip. So here's the fix. Stop asking better questions and start leading the energy. Use a playful assumption instead. Instead of how was your day, smirk and go, let me guess, at least 3 people tested your patience today and you were way too nice about all of them. Now she's got something to at least react to push back on, to play around with. You gave her a frame instead of a form to fill out. And then you tell her a story about your day, something with a little personality, a little anecdote with an edge. Give her a man with an inner life, not a guy waiting for like a status update. Or tease her. That's flirting. Flirting is teasing. So when she does something that's just her, right? When she's just being like her, tease her about it playfully, right? Play with her. Like for instance, like recently my wife was on like an alien kick, right? She was watching like documentaries and listening to podcasts and stuff about aliens, and then she'd like kind of tell me about these conspiracies and stuff that she watched a video on. So I'd mess with her and tease her about it. Like one day we had a big bird in our backyard who wouldn't leave. It just literally chilled in our backyard for like 5 hours, and it swam in our pool and just stared at us. So I got all serious and I was like, maybe it's an alien in disguise. And for a minute she was like getting into it. Then I'm like, you'll believe anything, right? Maybe I'm an alien in disguise. But I'm playful about it. And that's what flirting is, right? When you're dating a girl, when you're seducing her, what are you doing? You're teasing her. You're being playful. You're reacting to her. And that's the nature of flirting. Teasing her about her personality quirks. Again, not being mean, not being sarcastic, being playful. All right, the next one is the nice guy scorecard. Number 3, the nice guy scorecard. Okay, the nice guy scorecard is number 3, and this one's a big one. It's the covert contract. You run the errands, you wash the dishes, you're extra attentive, and underneath all of it, there's a quiet, silent expectation that all of his thoughtfulness is gonna get cashed in at bedtime. That's a covert contract. And listen, your wife's not a vending machine where you like drop in enough nice guy tokens and sex falls out on the bottom. Here's what you gotta realize. Women have a radar for transactional energy. She can feel the strings attached from across the house. She can sense that the dishes came with an invoice, and that's the part that kills it. It's not that she doesn't appreciate the help. It's that the second she feels the agenda underneath it, your kindness stops feeling like generosity and starts feeling like pressure. Now she owes you, and nobody ever gets turned on by owing a debt. So here's the fix. Rip up the contract. Do the nice things because you actually want to. Zero strings attached. And separate your desire from your chores completely. Instead, walk past her while she's doing something totally unsexy, right? Maybe she's loading the dishwasher or on the phone with her sister, and lean in and quietly say, "You have no idea how sexy you look right now." Then keep walking. Don't wait for anything, right? You just showed her that you want her and you don't need anything back. That's the whole game. The moment your kindness or your compliments has an agenda, she feels the price tag. Real desire doesn't come with an invoice. Number 4, sex is your stress release. And I'll explain what this means. So sex has become your stress release. For a lot of husbands, that's what it kind of turns into. You ignore her all week, you're buried in work, you're running on fumes, and then Friday night hits. And you reach for her in the dark like you're rummaging leftovers in the fridge. And her radar goes off instantly because she can tell you're not turned on by her, you're just turned on and she happens to be the nearest warm body. Here's what that kind of does to her. She doesn't want to be a vessel for you to blow your load in when you're horny. The moment she feels like sex is one more thing to knock out before the weekend, her body freezes up. Intimacy starts to feel like jury duty. She doesn't want duty sex. She wants to feel chosen, claimed, specifically desired. So here's the fix. You gotta separate expressing desire from needing the release. Let her feel you want her when there's absolutely zero chance of it going anywhere. Catch her eye from across the kitchen and just hold it for a second too long, right? Or come here for a second. Kiss her like you mean it, then go right back to what you were doing. No agenda, no follow-up, no "so tonight." You just showed her desire is about her, not about you needing to blow a load. When you only reach for her when you need release, she feels like a tool. When you want her at random with nothing on the line, that's when she feels chosen. By the way, this idea that her desire runs on your polarity and not your points, that's the entire foundation of my Desire Switch audiobook, and I'll tell you more about it at the end. But keep it in the back of your mind as we go, because every one of these fixes is one setting on that desire switch. And I'm gonna put a link in the description below. And if you're going, "Bobby, you keep repeating that I have to show desire and not act on it." Well, yeah, because if you go all the way back to number 1, the psychology for a woman is anticipation. If I had to list the number 1 reason husbands aren't getting laid, is because they don't understand the psychology of how women get turned on. They get turned on by the anticipation, the buildup, the mental foreplay. And when you tease her throughout the week, you're getting her like fantasizing about it, and that's when she needs to release it. If you ignore her all week and you just come in and you start kissing her and it's like, where did this come from, right? So, number 5. I'm just gonna write cuddling, and I know you're like, cuddling, but you're trying to cuddle your way in. And this means you're leaning on safeness, back rubs and hand holding and respectful little shoulder pats, hoping that if you're gentle and warm enough, it slowly warms her up. But here's the mistake. Affection builds comfort, but edge and polarity build desire. Those are 2 completely different circuits. And if every single time you touch her, it's soft and safe and gentle, you're training her nervous system to file you under like teddy bear. She gets all the comfort of you being there with none of the psychology. From her side, she feels safe with you, cozy, secure, which is lovely for a nap and death for arousal. Comfort is the couch. Desire is the spark. And you keep handing her a blanket when she's like waiting for a match. Here's the cruel little twist. She might even tell you that she loves how gentle you are. She might even mean it. But loving how safe you are and wanting you to tear her clothes off are 2 completely separate things happening in 2 completely separate parts of her brain. So you've been optimizing for the wrong one. Here's the fix. Break the safe touch loop. Next time she walks past you in the kitchen, don't give her the polite little pat. Grab her firmly by the waist. pull her in against you. Hold her eye contact a beat longer than comfortable, smirk, then walk away. You didn't say a word, but she felt your fangs. And that half second of tension does more than a week of back rubs. Comfort makes her feel safe. Tension makes her feel alive. She needs both. And a lot of times you're only giving her one. Number 6 is scarcity syndrome. All right, so scarcity syndrome. This is where the second she pulls back, you panic. She goes quiet or she's in a mood, she's a little cold, and your instinct is to grip tighter. Are you okay? Did I do something wrong? Are we good? You know, like hovering around her, trying to fix the weather. And what that frantic energy screams is, my entire sense of self is riding on your mood right now. So here's the part that she picks up on. If her temporary bad mood can rattle your whole foundation, she just learned that she's stronger than you. And her biology will not let her fully surrender to a man that she can knock over with like a sigh, because desire needs something solid to lean into. So here's what she's actually testing without her knowing she's doing this. Is he gonna stay steady? Or is he gonna need me to reassure him again? Every time you chase that reassurance, you fail. Here's the fix. Be the oak tree, not the weather vane. Her mood is the weather. You're the mountain it passes over. She snaps at you, you don't flinch, you smile and go, you're cute when you're trying to stay mad at me. Let's see how long you can do it today. And you go right back to your night, unbothered, anchored. Now, I wanna be clear. Your attitude is playful and warm and unbothered, not cold, not condescending, and not sarcastic. Your stability is the thing she gets to relax into. You being unshakable is what finally lets her go. Her mood is the weather. If you become the weather too, there's no shelter. Be the thing she can't knock over. That's one of the biggest mindset shifts I try to drill into guys I work with is, you are the mountain, she's the weather. Women, the nature of the female is to be a little chaotic, right? Like the weather, it changes, it goes stormy and cloudy and then sunny, and it's like it's a guy, we watch this and we're like, what the hell is wrong with her? But that's just the female nature. And if you act that way too, well, then it's two female natures. The man nature needs to be the mountain, right? Her weather is gonna be stormy and you just sit there and you just like enjoy it. One of the other things I say is women are silly and fun. You know, you just have to be like, women are silly and fun. Yeah, they don't make sense half the time. They change moods and are a little crazy. They're silly and fun. So the next one is waiting for the green light. So number 7, and this is the last one, is you're waiting for permission. You lie there or you sit on the couch waiting for some clear, unmistakable signal before you dare make your move. You're terrified of getting it wrong, of the flinch, of the not tonight. So you play it safe and you wait. But hesitation is a polarity killer, because when you refuse to take the risk, you hand her the job of leading. You force your wife into the masculine role of deciding when and how and whether or not. And when you wait for the green light, you're basically handing her a clipboard in bed. Please confirm you'd like to proceed. There's nothing in the world less arousing than being asked to sign off on your own seduction. Feminine energy craves a man who leads with certainty and a little dominance. When you make her drive, you kill the exact polarity you're hoping to spark. Here's the fix. Stop negotiating with her body, start leading it. Drop the can I and the is this okay, and guide her with quiet certainty instead. One of the things I think a lot of guys get wrong is their wife gives them some pushback. And I have to be very careful how I word this. I know this is not, when your wife gives you pushback, she may not be in the mood yet, because you were in the mood and you maybe like climbed on her and started kissing her and she's like, oh, not tonight. Well, she's not in the mood yet, but that doesn't mean you can't get her in the mood. So instead of passively aggressively rolling over and looking at your phone and being all pouty, get her in the mood. Lead her into it, right? We talk about the psychology. Get her in the mood. Turn her on. Move her hips. Place her hand where you want it. Hold her gaze like you already know. Your certainty is what gives her nervous system permission to finally let go. Let her see a little of your dominance. And this doesn't mean you're forcing her to do anything against her will. I'm not saying that. I'm saying just because you get oh, not tonight, doesn't mean you can't continue to turn her on. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten over the years, not tonight, and wound up having an amazing night of sex because I didn't go, oh, too bad, some days, yeah, some days we're all not in the mood sometimes, but sometimes we have to get in the mood. And it's your job as the man to get your wife in the mood. She's not waiting for you to ask. She's waiting for you to lead. She doesn't want to be asked. She wants to feel a man who's already decided. Your certainty is her permission. So look, if you take nothing else from this video, take this. Every single one of these 7 things, the technical performance, the interview mode, the nice guy scorecard, all of it, they're the same mistake wearing different masks. You've been trying to earn her desire like it's a reward for good behavior. But desire was never a reward. It's a response, and it responds to masculinity, not points. You can't nice your way into her wanting you again. You can't do enough dishes. You can't check in enough. You can't ask enough, how was your days? Because none of that touches the switch. The switch runs on tension, on leadership, on a man who wants her without needing anything back. Now, flipping that switch back on in a marriage that's gone quiet, that's exactly what I built the Desire Switch audiobook for. Inside it, I walk you through the psychology of female desire in a long-term relationship, why it fades, what actually reignites it, and the specific moves that rebuild the polarity that 2 of you used to have, but maybe it slipped away. You learn the ways your wife will test your leadership, your dominance, and your masculinity, how to create the kind of tension that makes her chase you again, even years in, how to express desire in a way that makes her feel claimed instead of pressured, how to become the emotional anchor she can relax into instead of the one more thing she has to manage, and the exact shifts that turn a roommate dynamic back into a sexual spark. It's not therapy. It's not me telling you to have a long conversation with her about this. It's not me telling you to tell her you got to schedule date nights. It's the small, specific stuff you can start doing tonight while she's still wrapped up in that comforter cocoon pretending to be asleep. If you've been lying on your 6 inches of mattresses, watching your wife wrap herself into that blanket cocoon, wondering where the woman you married went, she's still in there. Her desire did not die, it just got switched off. And you're the one holding the switch. You can download the Desire Switch audiobook at the link in the description below, or you can go directly to desireswitchaudiobook.com and you can turn her desire back on. As always, if you found this video helpful, hit the little like button so that other people can find it. Leave me a comment. Let me know how many of these mistakes you've made and how many you're willing to fix. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future videos.